Welcome to the Squad Show. I'm Sam Ekstrom, and don't worry, if we make any mistakes during this show, we will punt on the next attempt so as to prevent further failures or embarrassments.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. Fun, nerdy stat for you. The Vikings haven't scored in the first quarter in 260 days.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan from Wide Left, and my nightmare has come true. It is a Vikings quarterback who can't throw left.
What's happening, Luke Inman at Luke_Spimmy? Lost in all the turmoil. We may have crowned Miles Price a pinch too early.
Skol! It's the Vikings Squad. Everything Minnesota Vikings every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the land of 10,000 lakes. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. It's time to gear up. The Vikings Squad Show starts now.
Oh, yeah, we're back at it 12 hours after the Vikings are blitzed 22-6 by the Atlanta Falcons. We are back on the Vikings Squad Show. We're really glad you're with us on the Locked On Vikings YouTube channel. Find the audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed wherever you get your podcast. We're glad you're listening, watching, commenting, and subscribing. Get us to 10,000 subscribers. We appreciate that. You met the crew. You will hear them over the next hour break down the offensive issues, the defensive issues, the special teams issues. We will rank the problems on the Minnesota Vikings through 2 games. They fall, again, 22-6. We have nerdy stats. We have party fouls, and we have week 2 bet results. Someone in this room has not won a bet yet, and it's not Luke Braun. How's that for a tease?
It's not
I didn't even check the bet. I was having such a miserable time. I forgot that we were having a betting contest.
I also forgot until the Squad Show.
I'm excited to find out. How we doing, Sam?
We'll let you know. We'll let you know in segment 4. Early on, though, let's rank some
This
stuff.
is Minnesota Sports Rankem, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, and it starts now.
Hope you had your coffee, because if you hadn't, then that music probably really alarmed you, because that was loud. Let's rank our issues on this Minnesota Vikings team after the 22-6 loss. Is it Miles Price, Luke Inman? Is Miles Price the number 5?
Number 1.
He's number 5 on my list. The Miles Price regression game. 3 returns in the punt game, 6 yards, muffed one. And
if only some podcasters had called out his poor decision making. Gosh, if only that had been something that we
Would
were
have been
alerted
nice.
to.
Yeah, nobody stepped up though.
The knucklehead factor was certainly in play with this one, and there it was. There it is. We saw it. We caught it. That's my tongue-in-cheek number 5, the Miles Price coming back to earth game and crashing in his second performance. That's my number 5. And
too much garbage. He got lucky. There's, this game was so bad. Honorable mention list for me. I'm going to go injuries. I'm going to get that one out of the way. No one wants to hear about injuries, especially, after such a bad team loss in all 3 phases the next morning. But that is not the roster. That's not the starting lineup we talked about all summer. We analyzed that. That was a patchwork Swiss cheese team just trying to stay afloat. Protections, communications, total chaos, pre-snap, post-snap. Too many big names have gone down in 1 week,
I don't know, man. That's the NFL. You're going to have some injuries.
Some is fine. I can deal with some. There are so many big names that have gone down in 1 week, in 7 days. Too much big talent. Mm-hmm. And the drop-off from the 1s to the 2s, which we did talk about. This is a very top-heavy team. After we watched 3 preseason games, we weren't in love with the depth. That played a big factor.
I was reading about Ryan Kelly's concussion history this morning. There's a big feature in 2023 when he was with the Colts. It's got me nervous for Ryan Kelly's health. Also not great for having your starting center for 17 games this year. He's had 5 or 6 concussions in his life, in his football career.
Oh, no.
He missed 5 games with a concussion in 2017. so clearly has a history of experiencing long-term symptoms. I mean, also speaking very candidly, like at his age, with all the concussions he suffered, saying, a day will come when I suffer a concussion, and that's it. So this could be an IR stint level.
You make that sound like he said he was just gonna die because of a concussion.
I did. You said that just now. I didn't say that.
I'm saying it made it sound like it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we are in the context of football, and retirement in football is a thing that happens, not typically death, but all right.
Is 2017 the last time he's missed a stretch of games with a concussion?
No,
he missed having that many concussions. That seems like a long.
He had two
stretch.
of them. Yeah, he must have gone a long ways because he had two of them in 2023 and missed 3 games from those concussions, which again goes to show concussions all make you respond differently. Might be 5, might be 1. But Arif, what's number 5 on your list? Top concerns.
Number 5 on my list is the only defensive item on the list because I think the defense played really well.
You and Braun should fight about this. Braun did not like the defense.
They ran for 200 yards on you. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
They didn't throw on you because they didn't have to.
Negative 0.58 expected points. There were 3 possessions inside field goal range. They resulted in field goals. The defense played really well. The only time they gave up a meaningful score was actually when it wasn't meaningful.
They gave up like 4 10-play drives. They couldn't get off the field.
They got off the field just fine. The issue was the offense not staying on the field. Anyway, the only defensive issue I have is that the secondary is a concern, right? So, obviously, we saw, I think actually Braun tweeted this out, that there were a couple of safeties in the draft that immediately had an impact, and the Vikings passed up.
Congrats on your punt gunner, though.
For the punt gunner. But I just think that though looking back, Metellus played a little bit better against Kyle Pitts than I had actually expected. I didn't like seeing kind of the early stuff there. I'm really concerned about the state of that secondary. I think that if the blitz doesn't get home, the Vikings are just boned. And so I think the defensive performance largely fine, but the secondary is going to continue to be a long-term concern for me.
Braun.
Yeah, I had special teams just generally 5th as well. It's not higher on the list because there were good things on special teams. The punt. Hey, the drafted punt gunner did do good punt gunning. We'll give him that. In the
Vikings position.
Yeah, right. Drafting a good punt gunner. Yeah. But just generally, the inability to make an adjustment when something went wrong was really glaring on special teams. He took one out of the end zone. You shouldn't do that. You got to make him not do that. He did it 3 times. What are we doing on the sideline? What's happening over there? That's a concern to me. Just it reeks of disorganization, which is maybe the more general point. Whereas just saying, hey, the kickoff returner made a couple mistakes is probably not a top 5 concern, but the fact that it shows disorganization is maybe a bigger one.
My devil's advocate to that would be, number 1, offense doing nothing. You might have a chance to actually break through and get a big return and gain real yardage. And you have a returner that was really good last week. And maybe the instruction was, we haven't talked to Matt Daniels, haven't heard from him. Maybe the instruction was just try to catch lightning here. Just try to bring everything out. The offense can't do anything. See what you can do. Maybe they're just, maybe they want to try and take advantage in this early season of the unfamiliarity with the rules.
Okay,
just
so
return everything.
Can I respond to that super quick? Which is the Vikings' average field position on kickoffs in this game was the second worst we've seen in an NFL game this year so far.
Okay.
When a touchback is at the 35, a touchback obviously going into the end zone instead of rolling into the end zone. And some of those kicks were not, ones that you could take as a 35-yard touchback. When a touchback takes you to the 35, I mean, it's inexcusable for your average field position to be the 23-yard line. That's one of the worst field. Okay, we need to catch lightning in a bottle. We need volatile plays, but not a single one of those returns got to the 35. That's crazy.
But how many went to the end zone though, Arif? Maybe 2. I think most of them were 3, caught in the landing area. Okay, 3.
Sure, but there's if they're doing that, there's a reason, and you're not paying. There was one that was kicked, I think, to the 5, and they returned it 15 yards. That. I mean, that's pathetic.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to disagree with that. It was a 3-phase demolishing in this game. My number 4 Where are the tight ends? Where are the tight ends? Speaks to a greater offensive issue, like where's everybody? But specifically, where are the tight ends? Like TJ Hawkinson and Josh Oliver have combined for 5 receptions, 32 yards through 2 games. At least one of those was in garbage time. Nothing to the tight ends. Those are supposed to be the easy throws. Those are supposed to be the third down throws at the sticks. Nothing happening with the tight ends right now. I know, Braun, you really liked the blocking performance of Hawkinson in the first game. Nothing through the air to either tight end right now. And they're on the field a lot. Like, there are 3 tight end looks. Urisek's out there running around. And they're getting no love whatsoever in this offense.
Yeah, disappearing act from a lot of them. I don't know if it's necessarily the tight end's fault. I think the issues are like they're just like falling victim to the more global issues of the offense. But I'll get to them.
Yeah, 100%. Inman, number 4.
Reef mentioned the defense. I'm going to go the run defense specifically. First play of the game kind of set the tone. 25-yard gash. Never really adjusted. They clamped down in the red zone, like you mentioned. But from the 20 to the 20 it was rough, man. It was garbage. 39 rushes, 218 yards, 5.6 yards per carry. And when you needed a stop, 9 minutes left, they got gashed. Death by 1,000 cuts. Courtesy of Bijan Robinson, who a large majority of those were before contact as well. But just too many wide open holes all night long. Gap integrity was not a thing apparently last night. So run defense, number 4.
TBD screen name saying that the big brain move to trade Phillips seems really silly. I know that's another Luke Braun point from last night's show, the post-game Vikings squad show. And that was the same one for you, Braun?
Yeah, the run defense generally. 3rd worst of the week so far in rush EPA allowed and 4th worst in rush success rate allowed. But tell me more about how great the defense played, man. It's bad.
You're concerned about time on task. There were only 2 drives over 5 minutes. They didn't score any points, dude.
They got gashed up front and
they did. Okay, so they did. There were chunk plays on defense, particularly in the running game, right? But defense is more than just highlights. They had like a 33% third down rate in the first half. Or like it's fine. Like, I understand that these big runs suck, and I understand that they would prefer to run instead of pass, but they couldn't score points and they gave up the ball. They did punt. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
the Falcons shot themselves in the foot and bailed the Vikings out like a bunch.
Which had nothing to do with the defense. You're right. Good point.
No, home crowd. It was all the home crowd. Loudest home crowd I've ever seen.
The defense stopped because the incompletions were a product of the defense. That's what happens. That's how you play defense.
False starts. What are you talking about? Incompletions. And by the way, some of those incompletions were Penix just sailing wide on slants that were wide open. It doesn't feel like any of that is earned. There's like 3 really fun plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unusual.
They had some moments,
it's
but
really
like,
unusual how over the past 2 years, quarterbacks on short throws happen to sail a lot of these passes more than they usually do. It's almost as if there's some sort of schematic reason that quarterbacks have to rush their throw and have
the schematic reason that slants are open all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, they're not being completed. I think that's, maybe...
Are you giving Brian Flores credit for Michael Penix missing like 4 slants? I just want to make sure that's what's happening.
Absolutely.
Right, that's insane.
Quarterbacks on these short throws on wide open slants are missing more often against the Vikings defense.
It's a one-step drop.
They're still not doing it. They're rushing their throws because of the look. Until they stop doing that, then I'm not I don't understand. Like, the slant is open by design and it still doesn't hurt the Vikings. It's been open by design for 2 years. It hasn't hurt the Vikings.
Slants open by design is like the reason the Lions destroyed the Vikings last year.
Yeah, and it's bad against the Lions. They need a different defensive setup against the Lions. Against any other team, it seems to be fine. Anyway, my number 4 is the offensive line. I don't think that the offensive line is actually the primary reason for the pressure, but they did play poorly, right? Obviously, a big part of that has to do with injuries, right? Ryan Kelly going out with the concussion partway through and having Michael Juergens in there, Justin School being in there, and then also going out and having Walter Rouse in there. That's unfortunate. And also, as run blockers, they were not outstanding, although I think that they were probably better than they were pass protectors. But that's an issue, right? The offense, runs either way through the offensive line if you're not coherent there. Also, I mean, I don't know that even Donovan Jackson had a really good week 1. I don't think they did a very good week 2. And I think there was miscommunication up front. Again, a lot of that probably has to do with the new members of the offensive line being inserted in there. But that is a huge concern.
We'll get to our top 3 concerns about the Vikings. I'm sure that will become a J.J. McCarthy conversation, a coaching conversation, an offense conversation on the other side here in the Viking Squad Show. We're brought to you today by PrizePicks. It's the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. We make decisions every day. With PrizePicks, when you're right, you cash in. They've also got a really fun contest going on right now where you can put together like a first touchdown, entry more or less, where if you get all 7 right, they give $1 million away. Yeah, pretty cool. That's for free on PrizePicks. It's the simplest and fastest way to get in the action. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, turn your takes into real prizes, less than 60 seconds to put together that entry. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Great promotions at PrizePicks as well. They got profit boosts like 30% right now on NFL and college football entries. Again, code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Thanks to the everydayers who were with us late last night and now this morning here on the Vikings Squad Show. We're still ranking the top issues afflicting and facing the Minnesota Vikings right now. My number 3 was the rush defense, just the basic 5.6 yards per carry allowed last night. Braun, I feel you to some extent. I feel like the way the game ended leaves a bit of a sour taste, getting carved on that final drive and then having to
needing to get the ball back and letting them rattle off a 12-play touchdown drive. Yeah, that's
the performance on that drive sucked. I think we can all agree on that one.
Yeah, easily the feeblest
and
of
then
the
letting
night.
them score on play 12. Like, what do you really? Yeah, we want to get the ball
That's
back.
why you go for it on 4th and 1 to give them a shorter field, because if they're going to score anyways, then get
Precisely.
the time. Get your time.
That is
pick one, pick a
100%.
lane, and go with it.
Yeah.
I think if you feebly just lose 15-6, I don't think we're talking about the defense. I mean, it all counts. The last drive counts, but they were at that point.
If they could have got off the field in that one, and you get the ball back, you got like 6 minutes, you're down 2 scores. It's like not that far away from where you were in the Bears game, and you can maybe feel like you have a chance there. But you started the game with like a 30-yard explosive run, and it kind of just never got filled up.
No, they were super on schedule in that game. A lot of 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. So that's my number 3. Luke Inman, number 3.
Offensive line, Arif mentioned a lot of it. 3rd, Sam, I think you called it out on the postcast. 3 for 10 on 3rd and short attempts.
All short yardage, not just all short yardage. Yeah,
on 3rd and short attempts. Yeah, just no push up front last night. 6 sacks, which I know is not all directly on them, but you got a young quarterback. You need a strong offensive line to protect him, help him get into a rhythm. That was the topic all off season. They spent a lot of time, money, resources into something that's been really a thorn in their side since KOC's been here, this offensive line. And again, it's not what it's supposed to look like on paper yet with all the injuries, but we sit here, this morning, we can only go off of what they put on the field. And so far the offensive line has been, it's been pretty stinky.
100%. Arif, number 3.
We kind of just alluded to it. KOC's decision making. I think the 4th and 1 is pretty bad. It's not as bad as I think a lot of people are saying, but there are a lot of plays where you give up 3% win probability because you played poorly. There are very few instances where you choose to give up 3% win probability, and that's really significant, right? So it's bad. Maybe it's not as bad as like people saying that's the reason that they didn't have an opportunity to win the game. Obviously, I think that 12-play drive at the end is a bigger reason. But I think that a lot of the decision-making there was kind of screwed up. I thought the clock management was probably a little bit screwed up. I think that making a late decision to allow a touchdown as opposed to an earlier decision to allow a touchdown kind of puts you on the back foot the entire time. And so, yeah, I didn't like that. And then also, I think that was Jurgens the center on the sneak with the fumble?
No.
I didn't think so. The
snap exchange. Yeah, that was that.
Yeah.
There were 2 bad snap exchanges under center from Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, I think that you should be aware of how effective your snap exchange is and determine your likelihood of choosing a quarterback sneak based off of that. And my understanding is that the snap exchange hasn't been clean all camp. So,
I thought that was just a Jurgens thing.
Yeah. Why would you call for a quarterback sneak, which is more reliant on that than anything else, right? Like, I think that you're much more likely to get just a run up the gut with Jordan Mason to convert than you are a quarterback sneak with a bad snap.
I hated his logic after the game.
My God.
It didn't work earlier, so we're just not going to do it.
Yeah, I've never... I've never heard him use logic like that because it's so outside the realm of the way he describes his thought process, the way he's thought before, the way he's engaged in this kind of thought process before. A shockingly non-probabilistic take from almost any NFL head coach at this point, because NFL head coaches don't operate like that anymore.
Yeah.
Terrible logic.
There's only one play we have, and we haven't been very good at it tonight, so we quit.
Yeah, we only the one play.
Yeah, we called it a white flag, almost a little tongue in cheek, thinking, well, surely they had some maybe overthought process or some other. No, that's kind of a white flag. That's kind of just saying, well, we can't do it. Well,
yeah, we can't play football, so why would we do that? And it's like, good point. You can't.
My third one, I just wrote everything takes too long. Just everything. It takes too long to call the plays. Takes too long to get out of the huddle. Takes too long at the snap. Takes too long. McCarthy takes too long in the pocket. Everything takes too long. Everything is slow, and when everything is slow, it's super easy to defend.
And this is the operational speed. This was at times a criticism of the Kirk Cousins teams too. That's a veteran.
Yeah.
So might speak to the head coach. I'm trying to get to the crux of this, which is going to be the quarterback. My number 2 is the injuries. Just think about like how many areas are afflicted now. You're down a key edge. You're down a center. Your top tackle. Suspended is your wide receiver 2. Your top safety. Your top inside linebacker. And now it sounds like your 1A or 1B running back, Aaron Jones, hamstring. That's not going to resolve overnight. And your CB3. Like every single area has an issue right now. And that's and I think a lot of them will resolve, but it's stacking up. It's stacking up right now, early. That's tough to see. Number 2, Inman.
I'll put it on JJ. The toast of the town last week, total dud last night, missing a wide open 70-yard touchdown to Jalen Nailor on 3rd and 1. That would have completely flipped the game around, and who knows? Maybe you get a little fourth quarter magic brewing again. Fumbling the pitch on the 2-yard line, that proved costly. Already touched on fumbling the 4th and 1 snap, and just big picture too. Kind of a branch off of what Luke's talking about as far as everything taking too long. Slow processing speed. I'm sitting there watching Michael Penix on the other side. That quick release, balls out of his hands. You get some easy completions. Now you're in a little bit of a rhythm. Haven't seen any of that from JJ through 7 out of 8 quarters through 2 games. So saw it on the first play too. We talked about it last night in the postcast. Very first play of the game. Quick out to Nailor for 1, maybe 2 yards. You expect that to go for 4 or 5 yards, or at least get that ball in his hands so he has a chance and an opportunity to make a guy miss, get some yak. But ball's out too late, double clutching, not trusting what he's seeing. Again, 2 games in, a lot of phenomenal quarterbacks suck their first handful of games, if not their entire first year. I know the Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes first seasons maybe have ruined us a little bit when it comes to early expectations, but just too slow, man. 6 sacks taken last night. I think it's 9 through 2 games, 18% sack rate, easily the worst in the league. And I know a lot of it has to do, they just haven't run a lot of plays either. That's got a lot to do with it. Dead last in the league in plays run, but atrocious sack rate.
Down thing. You got to convert your third downs. Then you get
convert your third downs. Yep. A lot of things can be true. It's not all on one thing. Last night, all 3 phases were just brutal. But again, sack rate, a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. But the other half, I think, has to do with JJ McCarthy too. So
yeah, McCarthy in week 1, he had 6 attempts in less than 2.5 seconds, which was last. And the numbers aren't updated from last night. I guarantee
he had 1 attempt under 2.5 seconds. Yeah. So that's actually my number 1 and 2 are both McCarthy related. Number 1, I will talk more about the time to throw stuff. But number 2, Luke and I have been arguing this whole podcast, but here I am going to agree with him about something, which is that McCarthy's hips are a problem, right? when you've got an explosive offense, one that's predicated on these deep shots, right? And we can have a conversation about how the offense needs more short throws and stuff like that. You need to make sure that your deep ball accuracy is on point. And if you have a well-identified weakness with why you're throwing a deep ball the way you are inaccurately, you need to make sure that that is the kind of thing that is fixed mechanically in a way that's not going to degrade over time. That's part of your muscle memory as opposed to something you're consciously doing, which is a really difficult thing to do, but it's a problem now because that's how the offense is designed. So people unfamiliar, I recapped it over at Wide Left Football in the game recap, but Luke wrote a piece about McCarthy's deep ball specifically and about how he under-rotates at the opening of the throw, so his toe isn't pointed to his target on deep shots. This is particularly true on throws to the left, where it's harder to aim correctly if you're not doing it right. And as a result, you over-rotate the rest of your body on the rest of the throw, and that results in an enormous amount of inaccuracy because you're trying to create power through the swing of the throw. And we saw that specifically on the missed slot fade to Naylor. That was such an obvious problem. We got a bunch of really great replays of him swinging his foot around. And that it looks exactly like the videos that we have up on the scouting report of McCarthy, where that was an issue. And that's the offense. The offense is throws 50 to 22 yards, sometimes 40-yard throws, right? When Jordan Addison comes back, that's the offense. And if you can't hit deep shots, you can't run the offense. It has to either be a different offense or a different quarterback. And that different quarterback could be McCarthy with better mechanics, but it's one of the two.
Yeah, the blunders last night were noticeable, problematic. We had 3 McCarthy fumbles and 2 nearly 3 interceptions. All really clunky, and that's not all on KOC. You know, the fumble stuff got to be cleaned up. The sack fumble, you got to protect it more. I didn't get a clear indication of whether the bad pitch was supposed to be pitched or if it was like a bluff pitch. I don't know.
I think
it looked like a bluff.
I think it was a bluff.
Because otherwise there would have been ineligible offensive linemen downfield on the throwaway after. So I think it was a bluff. I don't think it was a real pitch.
Yeah, Braun, want to take it from there?
Yeah, number 2 for me is JJ might suck. That's pretty big problem. I don't have it number 1 because I think that's probably way too far for week 2, right? Like it's still way too early to be that biblical about it. But it's a concern that this guy might not be able to throw a deep ball. You might have a quarterback with you might have to really truncate your offense to accommodate him. The hope is that, 2 months from now, he looks a little different. He's got a bunch of games under his belt. He's a little more used to the speed of things, and that by next year we can see a different performance. But it's a very slow start for your young quarterback that everybody kind of threw their whole lot in with is concerning. But my number 1 concern is that the offense doesn't work anymore. Kevin O'Connell's scheme lord offense doesn't work. It doesn't work. They have scored a touchdown in 1 of the last 16 quarters. It's bad. It's getting destroyed by Lions and the Rams last year. The Bears, up until they had their own meltdown that is greater and grander than any meltdown the Vikings could conjure. Good for you, Bears. But that was
the Bears.
Yeah. And now this, it doesn't work. And it's been 4 straight games, and you've had a whole offseason to examine what happened in the last one. And it seems as though the problems on offense are just ones that Kevin O'Connell is not willing to address. He's not willing to shorten things up. He's not really willing to quicken things up. He's not willing to simplify things. And I hope Kevin O'Connell was really frustrated last night. I hope he was as pissed off as he's ever been, because maybe he'll finally go back to the drawing board and change stuff that his guys can't run anymore. That's no longer 12-year veteran Kirk Cousins. That is a dude that cannot do what you are asking him to do, and you knew that. So this one to me is maybe KOC washed. That's number 1 to me.
Shades of 2020, 2021 Mike Zimmer, when we were like, hey, so you have a bunch of new defenders, including a ton of rookies. Are you going to change this famously complex defense? And he was like, no.
The magic has worn off. Go adjust and be a new coach, or you're out of here. Like, it happens fast.
Does happen fast.
I wanted to touch on a non-KOC question. Mechanics of the arm motion for McCarthy. A few people have brought it up on X. Not a quick release. Not a quick release. It's a little bit windy. It's a little bit circular.
This is the same over rotation thing. Not only does it create inaccuracy, it takes a long time.
It loops
Yeah. There's a lot of extra.
Because you're moving your front shoulder to generate power, and if that's where all of the power is coming from, then you're bringing the rest of your arm with you. So it takes a long time to get going,
and it takes a long time. And it, like, from start to finish, it takes a long time. So a defender has time to recognize that this is a throwing motion and get his hand up, and then suddenly you get a bunch batted down too.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with my number. I know we're not going in order now. Sorry, I'm gonna go with my number one, which is also McCarthy related. We've been talking about this a lot, so I just wanted to bring a couple of numbers to bear on this, which was McCarthy's time to throw. I'm gonna use this as like my nerdy stat too. So I'm sorry, we're crossing segments. I'm going out of order on who gets.
I've already given up 2 nerdy stats. It's cool.
But McCarthy's time to throw on blitzes, right, when there are fewer defenders in coverage and you were supposed to have an answer really quickly, McCarthy's time to throw on blitzes was slower in this game than all but 2 quarterbacks were on non-blitzes in 2024. Like, the fact that he would take longer on blitzes, which a lot of quarterbacks get rid of the ball in like 2.4 seconds on blitzes. He takes longer on blitzes than quarterbacks do when there isn't a blitz at all, which is nuts. And the only 2 quarterbacks, they're like, they're guys who've earned it. I think they're Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Like, if you're them, take all the time in the world. You run a 4.3, who cares, right? But you're not. He should know by now. He's definitely not 4.3. He keeps on getting caught from behind. So his time to throw, like 3.28 or something like that seconds in this game, would have been first or third, depending on kind of what charting organization you're using, over the course of an entire season last year. It is a tremendously long time to throw, longer than Caleb Williams last year. And that was like the deal with Caleb Williams, right? I don't think that that's a Kevin O'Connell thing, right? So I was looking at the proportion of throws that are under 2.5 seconds, right? And in the Kevin O'Connell offense, they regularly rank 31st or 32nd in the league in percentage of throws under 2.5 seconds. Obviously, it's a deep throwing offense. We just talked about it. But both years, the Vikings had about 30% of their throws come in under 2.5 seconds. The offense has some time for those throws to come out quickly. And they also get rid of the ball in around 3.05 seconds. That's under 4 different quarterbacks over the past 2 years. McCarthy had 1 throw under 2.5 seconds. And he had 2 dropbacks under 2.5 seconds. The other one was the instant sack, right? The unblocked sack from Zach Harrison that turned into a fumble. We're not counting that as a fast throw, right? So you 1 throw under 2.5 seconds, which is 4.7 or 4.8, basically 5%. That is egregiously low. And when you take a look at the film or the broadcast footage, whatever you want to call it, a lot of it is McCarthy just holding onto the ball. It's not that he's taking these 7-step dropbacks into a hitch and then looking, because that can take longer than 2.5 seconds. If you've got this play, we saw that with Teddy, right? 7-step dropback on a play action, you hitch, and then you fire a 30-yard bomb or whatever, right? For Teddy, that's a bomb. But here he's taking a 5-step dropback, hitch, and then he's waiting. And so the receivers have already gotten out of the route. The timing of the play is broken. There's pressure. The offensive linemen are blocking for a particular depth with an understanding of a particular time. And because of that, they're being put at a disadvantage. And so they're inviting pressure. I'm not saying that School or Rouse played well. What I'm saying is that the primary problem was McCarthy holding onto the ball. And that problem was amplified by the weaknesses on the offensive line rather than the other way around. And so that absolutely needs to be fixed.
Total system failure for sure. Inman, did you have a number one? Anything to add?
KOC, a lot of echoing what everybody said. You know, first drive, by the way, McCarthy dives for that first down on a scramble. Great play. They mark him short. You don't challenge it. Like and you go for it.
That was
you
kind of
don't get it.
Yeah.
And then, that's the domino effect. That's the trickle effect. You're telling me that's what leads you not to going for it and punting it on 4th and 1 down 9 with 9:37 left in the game after you already went for it on 4th and short earlier with worse field position. And you knew the Falcons were marching to the 20 all night too. You knew that. And again, worst case, already touched on it. You don't get it. The field's shorter now for the Falcons. They score quicker. You got more time on the clock. Zero logic on that. Tough to get behind the thinking there. And then just what a lot of Luke and Arif already touched on as far as just not simplifying things, right? Adjust the game plan, cater your play calls and designs for this rookie quarterback. He ain't a 7-year vet, man. This is on your head coach to adjust, to tweak things, to strip things down, build it back up. So, McCarthy can get up to the line of scrimmage and have more than 5 seconds on the clock, simplify the route concepts maybe so he can just see it and sling it. If that means dumbing things down, then so be it. Put your pride away a little bit and just adjust with what you got. You got a rookie quarterback and just take this thing game by game. It's like J.J. McCarthy just got his driver's license and KOC's putting him behind the wheel of a 18-wheel Mack truck and saying, give me a parallel park right over here and a 90 degree backup. Like, it's just too much. I feel like simplify, adjust things better, help JJ help you. Falcons pass rush dominated all night. Did they run one screen pass last night or did I miss one? One screen pass just to try to slow things down.
Aaron Jones
dropped one.
Okay,
Mason,
I didn't.
Mason might have.
I saw it on the box score.
I think there was one to Mason. Yeah.
Okay. Nonetheless, there's just some simple things I think he's overlooking and just flat out choosing not to address. And I think that's why he's got to be number one on everybody's list today.
I'll reiterate what I said last night, which is every defense in the NFL can defend you if you can't execute what you're trying to do. Everybody can beat that. If you are executing something properly, but maybe it's not quite as special and fun and complex and cool, but you're doing it correctly, at least now the onus is on the defense to actually get their stuff together and stop you. And I think that's the argument. That has to be the argument now. That has to be what happens is maybe the offense looks a little bit less fun, but they do it the way they're supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm. I want to add 2 things. One, the challenge, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, Inman, but the challenge with changing the offense to be kind of shorter and faster is that was the problem in the Bears game. That, for the first half of the game, they got rid of the ball really quickly, which is why JJ's time to throw in that game was like 2.8 seconds in general, which is still slow, but that's because the second half they were more explosive. They got rid of the ball quickly. They had more slants. It was a faster striking offense, and it was designed to get JJ McCarthy in rhythm, to get his confidence up with a couple of easy throws. And it sucked. It was a bad offense. And so the challenge is to make sure that offense, if you design an offense that gets rid of the ball quicker, which I agree generally is a good idea, but the consideration has to be that, like, hey, we struggled a lot when we actually tried doing that for a full half of a game, right? Like, we tried getting a quick strike offense going, and it was bad. And then we changed to slow developing explosive offense, and suddenly we scored 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. Like, I understand why it went in the direction it did, but I think, McCarthy over-leveraged and held onto the ball way too long, right? I think that they didn't adjust to what the Falcons were doing defensively to take that stuff away. But that is the challenge. The second thing I'll say is we talked a little bit about, like, hey, McCarthy's not, like, doomed necessarily. It's 2 bad games, right? And I agree with that. I want to reiterate that by adding, it's not just that we've had quarterbacks have bad rookie seasons and turn out to be good. The ghost of Josh Allen's development will haunt us forever, of course.
We had Terry Bradshaw drop in the chat last night.
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw, Troy Aikman on the broadcast, like he always is brought up.
Yeah.
But we've had 3 quarterback rookies have rookie of the year seasons where their first 2 games had bad PFF grades and bad performances. Jaden Daniels' first 2 games had no touchdowns, 1 turnover-worthy play, like a 55 PFF grade. He ended up with an Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Same thing with Justin Herbert, weeks 2 and 3, because week 1, they unfortunately kept Tyrod Taylor healthy, and then they fixed that problem, of course. And then CJ Stroud also his first 2 games were not nearly the quality or the level that we had. Like, I think he had under 7 yards an attempt. The quality of the level that we got for the rest. So it's still possible that he has an outstanding rookie year, even much less an outstanding, career, right? And again, he's younger. So there were 13 quarterbacks drafted in the 2025 NFL draft. He is younger than all but 2 of them, right? There's a lot left for him to potentially develop. My issue is that the Vikings were built like a win now team, and it does not look like
that's a huge. That's a bigger talker. That's a bigger talker, right there.
I almost made that my number one,
gamble.
Which is like, this roster is going to turn over like a lot in the next 2 years, whether it's because of money or guys just getting old. Like, they do not have long-term solutions to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
and if this is going to be a long-term project,
negative $53 million in cap space. Now, obviously, that's going to get resolved through restructures and cap casualties and stuff like that. I'm not saying the Vikings are screwed next year cap-wise. I'm saying that they're built, like, to build on Braun's point, built to win this year and not built to have long-term contracts, and that's what the negative $53 million represents.
You'll be able to figure out your money, but who's playing center in 2027?
Exactly.
Michael Juergens? Like, we don't know. That's the
you have to draft a center, a cornerback, and a safety in round 1 somehow.
Hey, Kwesi's infallible with the draft, obviously. Right. So no problem there.
He never misses the draft.
And if it doesn't work out, Inman.
Undefeated.
I mean, if it doesn't work out with McCarthy the next 3 years, you take that Cal quarterback in the draft in 2028. Am I right?
Man, chopping up, slicing the Gophers defense. True freshman over there. Yeah, I thought you were.
Did the Gophers get killed this weekend too? Man,
no, they took on. I'm telling you, I'm saying it so it's on the record.
He's legit.
Top pick of the 2028 draft. This kid, and he's got a name that's harder to say than Tua's. No idea how to say his name.
Okay.
Austin, I love that in the top pick. You can't say his name. I love that.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go
Christian Hackenberg this.
I thought you were gonna go the route of pull Hendon Hooker
what's that guy's name?
Or DJ Uiagalelei, right? Like the top pick 2 years out.
Let me ask.
Hold on. Let's get to that. We got a break behind schedule. Be right back. I'll talk short yardage, nerdy stats. Inman's gonna make a point that's gonna be very salient. Yeah. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. We turn to some funny places sometimes when we're looking for advice. Maybe it's your barista, your barber, Magic 8 Ball. Not everyone or everything, though, is the right place to go to when you need real support. That's why BetterHelp is here. With over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 10 years of experience, BetterHelp helps you find your right match, someone clinically trained and credentialed to guide you through life's challenges. Maybe you need to vent. Maybe the venting you're doing in your group chat isn't as constructive as you want. Maybe you need someone to listen a little more. So BetterHelp comes in handy. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/lockedon. BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. All right, Inman, before the break, was about to blow our minds with a question or comment, and he's going to tell us now.
Not even close. Don't raise the bar that high. I just want to circle back to what Arif mentioned, and I'm genuinely curious what you think, because you brought up, it's a good point that they tried to simplify things week 1 versus the Bears. It didn't work. Was that the game plan, though, or is that execution? Was that JJ holding onto the ball too long, double clutching?
No. It was execution. I think that they poorly executed that game plan. But I think the reason they poorly executed it is because they spent all offseason working on an explosive big play offense.
Yeah,
right. This is not part of the thing they practice.
So through the first 2 weeks, I looked into this. I thought, man, third downs have been so bad. They must be facing third and forever. Their third down to go average is actually above. It's better than most. It's like they're facing shorter third downs.
Yeah, they're blowing third and twos. Yeah,
the short yardage. Yeah, that I want to get into for my nerdy stats.
Analytics fans rejoice. It's time to get educated.
Whoa, you're blowing my mind right now.
With the nerdy stat of the day.
On all downs through 2 games, the Vikings are 7 of 20 on short yardage conversions. That's 1 to 3 yards to gain. That's second down. That's third down. That's fourth down. That's 35%. It's worse in the NFL. Dead last in the NFL. Last year, they were 58% converting short yardage plays. So
That's the Sam Darnold difference, baby.
Where did that rank, by the way? Do you know? Middle of the pack?
Oh, yeah. So 58% was 17th. Like, that was very much the median.
People were so upset at the short yardage offense last year.
50.
Well,
so
I'd give anything
I get
for
it.
that right
Like,
now.
when it's 3rd and 1, you kind of just always feel like they should get that.
No. Yeah, that's fair. And the thing is, some of the lack of conversions, it's part of like the risk calculus you take. Like the 3rd and 1 deep shot, I'm super behind it, assuming you have a quarterback that can throw deep, right? But like, maybe go for it 4th and 1 if that's what you're doing.
Have we burned through all of our nerdy stats, or do we have some left in the holster?
Just an extension of what you're talking about, not being able to convert on 3rd and short. Vikings have yet to surpass 50 offensive plays this season. Granted, small sample size, I get it, 2 games, but I think they're averaging 47.5, I want to say, dead last in the NFL.
Yeah, less than 50, that's not good. That's not good 2 weeks in a row. How about this doozy from Opta Stats? I love the elaborate criteria here.
I've seen this tweet.
First
I hate
team,
these stats, dude.
First team ever to gain less than 200 yards with no touchdowns, 6+ sacks, 4+ fumbles, 4+ turnovers, 8+ penalties, and allowing a 100-yard rusher. Never happened before.
Yeah, no, these stats are so stupid. When you add 7 qualifiers,
It's a 17 parlay, dude.
Yeah,
I kind of
adding a
really
parlay,
gonna
7-leg parlay.
At this point, it's
These-
about how specific you can make this at this.
yeah, like this happens in the NBA
At
all
night,
the time.
on
That's
the
like
road,
really annoying.
full
They're like
right?
the first player to score 17 points with 3 made 3-pointers and like 1 free throw made and 2 personal fouls. It's like, what are we doing, dude?
But then miss the next 2 free throws
Right, yeah, right.
before the end of the first quarter.
CS Prods, I'm sick of you blaming McCarthy when the O-line and KOC were the problem. It's getting ridiculous. Y'all don't want to hear the truth. Buddy, we're trying to tell you the truth. You're just not listening. We're trying to tell you.
Yeah, put
blame
Christian
KOC.
Darrisaw in at
Why?
left tackle, and you don't fix a lot of this. You still have to throw the ball faster versus a blitz.
You can't hold on the ball 3.8 seconds and assume pressure is not arriving. Christian Darrisaw is good. No one is that good.
Is he not on the Trent Williams level when Trent Williams doesn't play for San Fran? They went like 1-8 last year. He's not gonna. Are you telling me he's not gonna help us out that much? not gonna
Despite
have that
wearing the
impact.
same number.
Okay, wait. He's been compared to Trent Williams a lot. Hold on, Luke might be cooking. This might be it. This might be the answer. We might have found the best cope.
That's it.
We're doing left tackle wins, baby.
Left tackle wins.
Mike
I need.
Zimmer famously busted out that stat for Rashad Hill, I think. When
That's
Rashad
right.
Hill
Oh my
filled in
gosh.
for Riley Reef,
Oh,
Mike
Hey, man.
Zimmer
You
cited
free?
the
Are
win
you
record.
available? Is Rashad Hill on a team? I know somebody in the chat said
Get
bring
Brett
back
Jones
Rashad
back
Hill.
while we're at it. We're right there.
Someone said bring
Someone
back
said
Rashad
that.
Hill and Garrett Bradbury, but the problem is Garrett Bradbury is not only playing for the Patriots, but he seems to be playing kind of well.
I don't know about that. I think
so
some
I-
very
I-
bad things happened to him against the Colts.
I
but the
didn't
bar
like
is
his-
so low
I didn't
that
like
when
his
we
week
say
one
he's playing
And the
well,
Dolphins are
it's
barely
like,
a football team.
No, right. I didn't like his week 1 performance. I didn't look at week 2, but a couple of Patriots reporters tweeted out that he's been having a really great season thus far, and I thought that was funny. So,
Any other nerdy stats?
I emptied the clip earlier.
Beautiful.
The Vikings are 1-0 in close games.
So the next
Morally,
week,
they're 0-2. There's a stat.
There you go.
so next week the lineup presumably looks like this. Let's say Darrisaw is going to play, because why? If he's not going to play in week 3, then why wasn't he on the IR? Right? Like let's assume that Darrisaw plays. You have Darrisaw, Jackson, Juergens, and then you're and then Fries and O'Neal. So you're missing your center. You've got a Mason, Xavier Scott backfield. Still no fullback. Probably no Aaron Jones. You don't have Addison. You still got your same receiving core. How does it look different with Darrisaw? Just more able to put him on an island. You're less obligated to put tight ends over there. Like, do the tight ends get more involved, which I've been asking for, with Darrisaw in the mix?
Normally, I would say all you have to do is outscore the backup quarterback that the Bengals are going to be playing, but Jake Browning can cook. This is kind of unfortunate.
Specifically, Jake
He beat
Browning
us last time.
has destroyed the Flores offense before.
Right. So there's a lot we're missing here. Yeah, no, I
by far the team most afraid of Jake Browning that the Bengals play this year.
Yeah. So I would, I think that Sam, your intuition is correct that probably they should get the tight ends a little bit more involved. Not just because I think that there are probably some specific weaknesses of the Bengals defense you might be able to exploit, but also like if your problem is a quick passing game, like the tight end is kind of built around that. And you also don't have Jordan Addison. We talked about that a couple of times, right? So you might as well put them out there and have them catch passes and stuff like that.
I think the return of CJ Ham maybe does more for the tight ends. And right now they're doing a lot of that 12-13 stuff because they don't have a fullback, and you got to do like you kind of don't have access to a lot of the fullback-based run game stuff that this playbook relies on. And you're using the tight ends a lot more in that role. It'll free up a little bit when CJ Ham is back. I think when Darisaw gets back, the thing is you just hopefully won't have just like insta-death sacks that just happen that nobody can do anything about because Justin School got beat so bad.
Well, also, we think that the unblocked sack was probably on McCarthy, right? Like that you can't.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It could be on Juergens. It was a bad protection call. It had to be.
Right, yeah. But like Juergens goes in. Are you asking him to do all the... That's crazy. Like, I know that you've got a young quarterback in there, but you also have a young center in there.
I wonder what the plan was. If it was Ryan Kelly doing it before, I don't think you can change that on the fly. Can you? Like,
I mean, quarterbacks always have the ability to override. It's just kind of a question of like who, is the primary protection setter. And because of that, quarterbacks always need to be at least somewhat familiar with the way that they need to set protections. Because, I mean, they just have a better view than the centers do. So they should be able to override, even though young quarterbacks really do. And I think in that situation, you just have to take over as a quarterback. Like, you're the leader, my guy.
Yeah.
Defense next week. The hope would be you get Van Ginkel, and you have your defensive line and Grenard with an oblique. He did come back to play.
Right.
Probably going to miss some practice time this week. That's usually how
he played
they
really
operate.
well, by the way.
Yeah, he got a sack after that.
He was flying around after the injury. That's probably a good sign. Good chance you get Okudah back. He was already in the red practice jersey on Friday. You still don't have Cashman. I think same logic as Darisaw. Decent chance you get Harrison Smith back. He's been ramping up. If he wasn't going to play in the first 3 weeks, why didn't you IR him? So the unit could look more complete against Jake Browning, who is going to give you some Mullins ball, like 2 TDs, 3 interceptions yesterday, led a game-winning drive. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. He's got Jamar Chase. I think it could be a super fun game. Justin Jefferson rising up, going against Jamar Chase, trying to show what he's got. I think it's going to be an entertaining football game. I'm curious, have you guys looked at the line? I haven't
3.5.
Okay.
Same thing, Falcons. Same
for
thing.
the Vikings.
Yeah, it opened at 4.5 last night. I think people are hammering the Bengals really hard, which is the vibes are bad if that's what's happening. The day that Joe Burrow is announced to be out.
As soon as they announce, like, hey, he's seeing a toe guy, specifically a guy who specializes in fixing toes, he's going to be out for like 3 months. And then
people are like, Bengals slam it. Oh, no.
Oh, buddy.
I want to know what the line would have been with Burrow. I wonder if that's a pick 'em.
There's no way we would be favored against
I'd say Bengals by 1 or 2.
So MVP
2.5.
quality quarterbacks are typically afforded like 6 points in line movement, depending on whether or not you're around key points. So I would imagine it would be, and Browning is a better than average backup. So I imagine it would be probably 1.5, 2.5 to the Bengals or something like that.
Yeah, I've got a 2-0 Bengals team coming to town, and and it's Zach Taylor and Flores, and we know how that went last time. Like,
Alexander in the comments says, "You guys sound like you've given up for the season. If JJ was comfortable and did these things, I would be worried too. But when he has been comfortable, he has looked very good." All right, so 2 responses to that. 1, what guarantee do we have that he's going to look comfortable for the rest of the season? I think it would make sense for us to give up on the season if that was true either way. But no, we haven't given up on this season. We've mentioned the things that he needs to fix, and we've also talked about quarterbacks that have done well after poor opening starts. But final response, he has not looked good when he's comfortable. When he's had an open pocket, a clean pocket, time to throw, he overthrows Jalen Naylor on a slot fade. That was a completely clean pocket. He had time to throw. And
really bad miss of Jefferson on a 3rd and 9 too, where he bounced it. Really bad.
Like in a clean pocket, he hasn't looked good either. Like, I think it's fair. And I don't understand like this. I mean, I do understand, but I think that it is too much to be reticent of criticizing this rookie quarterback without acknowledging we all agree that he can get better and that it's not doomed. He can get better next game, next week, right? But we have to, like, it's okay to be honest that he screwed up. The offensive line was poor, and Kevin O'Connell had a poor game plan. All three of those things can be true, and to the best of our ability, we can dissect what elements belong to what unit, right? But I think it's pretty clear that when you drop back to pass and you hitch and then wait and then pressure arrives, that's not on the offensive line. It could be on the play calling, it could be on the quarterback. That's not on the offensive line. And when we look at the open receivers, I think it's on the quarterback.
Yeah, you can point out what has to change and point out that it's really important that it changes. But that doesn't mean that we're saying that like it won't. It has to, though. If it keeps going this way, guess what? You're going to score 6 points again. So you have to make wholesale changes to the way that you're approaching this, which is a pretty rough spot to be in week 2. But yeah, if we sound a little down, it's because the Vikings just got clobbered in primetime. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, like they're down. We're down because the Vikings have had 7 of 8 quarters where they were bad. Like, that seems fair.
Very
yeah.
In a clean pocket, McCarthy 6.2 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Is that good?
It's not great, Bob.
We're going to pause once more, come back with party fouls. I've got a very specific one about the Indianapolis Colts and our week 2 bet and prop results from last night.
Yeah, let's go.
On the other side. Today's episode brought to you by the Upside app. Are you still paying full price for gas? Why? Why would you do that? Stop leaving money behind. Don't do that anymore. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. That's a free app, and you save money. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now. Start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year from buying gas that you're already going to be getting on your way home from work. At first, I thought it was too good to be true. It's not. I've got a partner with the Upside app just like a mile from here. I can get gas there. I get cash back. Real people getting paid just to make their daily commutes. And you can too. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Use my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. Promo code TOUCHDOWN. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
It's time to tell you who spilled their proverbial drink on the sofa. Get ready for this week's party foul.
Game of the day in the noon block, or was it the 3 p.m. block? Might have been the 3 p.m. block. Denver and Indianapolis. I don't know if anyone saw this. This was a good red zone game at about 6 o'clock last night.
I loved it.
It was great.
They get to the Broncos down by 2, right? So not tied, down by 2. They get to the Broncos 42-yard line, and they proceed to run. They run it on first down. They run it on second down. They run it on third down. They had a minute and a half and 3 timeouts. Ample time to try and drive the ball into comfortable field goal range. They ran it 3 times and settled for a 60-yard field goal. That was missed, and then get completely
It was the correct decision
out.
because they knew the Broncos were going to commit a leverage penalty.
Yeah. Who do they think he is? Brandon Aubrey? This is like precisely what the Cowboys did.
They watched the tape. That's why you watched the tape. They knew.
Learned from the game earlier that day. Incredible turnaround on the scouting. He misses the kick. The Broncos commit a leverage penalty, 15 yards, re-kick, game over. Colts win. Party foul, though, on the play calling. Holy smokes. That would not have been good Monday morning for Shane Steichen. Any other party fouls?
The worst Monday morning, I think, in the whole league has to go to Caleb Johnson. Buddy.
Rough, dude.
Boy.
You think Miles
For those
Price
who
had it
missed
bad
it-
last night?
Boy.
For those who missed it,
Buddy.
a kickoff bounces in front of him, bounces over his head, goes into the end zone, and he just jogs
It
off the
touched him,
field.
right?
Not real. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
But
It
it
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. It's a live
Okay.
ball either way.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get in his head, like the thought process.
Right.
Like, it
There's
touched
no
you, though.
scenario.
Like,
There's
what?
no rule
Right.
scenario. Like your interpretation of the rules, it doesn't matter because it did touch him, even though for the rules, in this case, it doesn't matter. But for anybody, in any return situation, if it touches you, it's live. So you should have just been.
I was
touchdown
puzzled.
Seahawks.
So the Seahawk that recovered it, he possessed it so quickly
Yeah.
and then quickly let go of the ball. I was surprised that it was deemed legal possession in the end
Well, he
zone.
was so close to the back of the
Yeah.
end
You know,
zone.
Like
though,
he
too.
had
Like,
it for sure for a second. There's like
The
for
Seahawks
for
have a
moment.
history of scoring on millisecond possessions in the end zone when possession is contested. So, so it's just keeping in line with the theme.
Really thread a needle there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Bryce
specific
Young.
criteria.
Bryce Young is a Hall of Fame quarterback versus prevent defense.
Man, yeah, Cardinals really
Have
almost
you
blew
wa-
that,
like
huh?
they're always
Yeah.
down 2 possessions in the last 5 minutes of the game, and then he just slices and dies. They got the
I-
onside kick yesterday. They made it uncomfortable for
I'm just
Cardinals
so
fans, but-
happy we had the toddler bowl. That was so cool to watch these two little children go at each other.
It's like those halftime youth shows versus the mascots.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But like, and the tackles are just as devastating too. It's like, oh
Right.
baby, you can't be doing that, Kyler. He's
He's in
literally
8th grade. What are you doing?
Hey, oh my god. Party foul on anyone who doubted me. The entire Broncos game. So like last week at the Broncos game, I tweeted out that I was like validated by Bo Nix because he had an incredibly short depth of target. He wasn't scoring. He had some turnover with he plays. Anytime he threw deep, it was bad. So at the beginning of this Broncos game, he had a couple of like nice deep shots. I think 2 nice deep shots, one on a scramble. And so a bunch of Broncos fans were tweeting at me the whole game. Any update on this? Update on this? How do you feel now? I know how I feel, bud. He had like a 4.8 average depth of target by the end of that game.
Wait,
Just
what was
major.
his time to throw though? Can we call?
Ooh, let's find out.
We want quick offense, right? Let's make a trade.
Yeah. Let's figure out if we can get a trade going. So week 2, time to throw. We had 2.49 seconds, the second fastest, with only Jake Browning throwing faster.
We still got George Payton's number around. Let's do
Look
it.
out.
Yeah, let's do it. But yeah, so Bo Nix throws a back-breaking interception to one Cameron Bynum with an outstanding celebration.
Do you think he talked to the mascot before that?
The
did the mascot just go with
felt
it?
like he didn't know what was going on. He had to
Well,
like
the
walk him
mascot
through it.
looked confused.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come here," and then he just did the thing. The mascot's like, "Oh, I guess I'm doing the thing."
Oh, the thing I do. Yeah.
The one thing that I do, yeah. But yeah, so I am right again, and I will not be checking in on this in week 3 unless I'm right a third time.
Yeah, major regression coming for Bo Nix, as we're already seeing. Party foul on all of us who doubted Sam, doubting Russell Wilson. What, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns?
I
Oh
doubting
man.
Arnold, and I was like, well, he had an okay game. Like, the middle was pretty rough, but the beginning
I
and the
didn't
end was
watch
great.
that game, but that was fun. You look at the box score, 40-37, final and OT. That looked like a fun game.
That was my survivor pick, Cowboys.
Yeah,
Never
that was my
doubt.
survivor pick too. I was
Never
like,
doubt.
what is going on? I
Never doubt.
looked
You were
up the rules
sweating.
because the Cowboys were taking forever to score in overtime because it was like the 5th possession overtime. And I looked up the rules in an ESPN Eliminator leagues, ties count as wins. So the update for the future.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah, I was like, woo! But they won anyway. But yeah, oh my
Wow.
god.
Wow. Betting results week 2. Luke Braun takes the lead with his tongue-in-cheek Falcons money line.
That's right.
Hit the money line.
You
Max
the
bet money line and I hit it. Yep.
You monster.
And we're running it back.
How could you not? How could you not?
Braun made over $300 this week. He leads with $1,175 mythical dollars. He's plus 175 for the first 2 weeks. Arif goes 1-1. He had the Bijan Robinson 20 yards in the first half, needed 20-plus yards in the second half, so that's a loss, but he got the Jefferson yardage over. Arif made $42. He's at 1,018 for the year.
Profit.
Profit, $18. Luke Inman goes 1-1. He's 1-3 for the year. he got the Falcons spread, lost his quarterback rushing parlay.
Penix, come on, man.
That's right.
One little scramble. Didn't need to. They just kept running.
Speaking of, like, they should seriously explore the read option on 3rd and short, right? Like, that's what the Vikings should be doing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 0 for 4 for the year, fellas. 0 for 4. I had the adjusted over, and I had Penix over on rushing. Both lose. I'm down 300.
Convenient that you were the one that proposed we no longer have a loser punishment, Sam.
No, that was me.
Oh.
I said that at the end of the day 3 thing. I said I'm done.
Well, Sam made the decision, so I'm still going to implicate him.
Sam's the commissioner in the fantasy football league.
Yeah.
It comes down to him.
Can't let you take these false allegations, Sam.
It's my job to, take these arrows that you're slinging at me while I collect obscene checks. The money pours in. They pay me to absorb this, and I'm willing to do it.
Be the punching bag.
You're the Roger Goodell of our betting league. That's for sure.
Ron Johnson show tomorrow. The Care 11 squad show on Wednesday. We're back on Thursday. A lot of Bengals preview to come. We'll hear from the head coach, the quarterback this week. The injury situation will come into focus, and we'll keep pressing on. Week 3. We're 2 weeks into a long marathon campaign. Thanks everyone for watching. Comments. We're on fire today. If we didn't get to you, if we didn't put you on the screen, keep doing it next week. We'll definitely try to acknowledge as much as we can. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you everyone soon.